Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rico Tensai, and I like to speak my mind. Today, let's talk about time loop movies. The reason why I love them so much is because there's this theme of just wanting to change and wanting to do something different every day. Because you are stuck doing the same thing over and over again, the main character is always like, I know that I'm stuck, so let me try to figure out how to get back to normal, or just, get back to going to the next day because I'm tired of reliving the same thing. Because no one really wants to live the same day over and over again. Except for this movie where technically he didn't mind living in the same day, but then he found someone else who was just like, no, we need to eventually get out. And she was able to work on it and shit. Yeah, it was a whole thing. You should watch that movie. But I'm going to say for most time loop movies that I've seen, I haven't seen every single one. Most of them are pretty the main concept is they want to get out of the time loop. So for me, let me try to convince you on something real quick. What if I told you that you were stuck in a time loop? Of course, you would be like, no, of course not. I'm not in a time loop. Why would I be in a time loop? The thing is, how would you even know you're in a time loop in the first place? Because what if every day you were stuck in a time loop, but then you kind of forgot towards the end once you fall asleep? So then you keep reliving the same thing over and over again. For example, I'm just gonna try to guess what your morning, or what your whole day is usually. Your whole day probably consists of a lot of doom scrolling on social media. You probably get envious or jealous of other people online that you've never met before in your life. Then you try to go to the gym, but then something always happens where you're either overthinking about trying to ask out your gym crush, or you work out, but then once you come back home, you start eating junk food again. You probably hang out with the same group of people because you probably think that it's hard to find friends nowadays, which it kind of is. I feel like it's getting more difficult to make new friends almost every year. And anyways, every time you go to work, it's the same thing. You don't do anything different. You say hello to the same people. You do the same work, and then you go home, and then you think, boy, do I wish I would leave my job. But then, of course, you don't. The reason why you can't pursue your actual dream is because it's impossible, or you feel like you're alone and no one's here to help you, and you forget everything, and you do it all over again, the same thing over and over. So it's right as you about to fall asleep is when you really notice that you are in a time loop, but then once you fall asleep, it's reliving the same day over and over again. How do I know this so well? Because I've lived it so many times. I've done it so many times, and I've always caught myself. And the thing is, I am guilty of liking being comfortable and wanting nothing to change, because sometimes I hate change. And I always see unpredictable as a bad thing, because when things are unpredictable, things are usually goes bad. Since I know everything's gonna be the same and nothing's ever gonna change, then I can never be surprised, and I can never be caught off guard, or I can never feel dumb because no one's making fun of me for not knowing something. So then if I know everything, then I can never be made fun of, ever. And that's the thing that I really hated about myself, and I want to change. I want to change. I'm tired of being stuck in a time loop, so then now I want to get out. So my advice for you, if you feel like you are stuck in a time loop, listen to the side character, aka me, Rico Tensai, who is trying to tell you that you are stuck in a time loop. You need to change it. Because if you think about it, in every time loop movie, there's always that one side character who either tries to warn you or tries to help you out during the time loop. There's always that one side character that you try to convince that you are stuck in a time loop. Trust me, I believe that you are stuck in a time loop because I've been in it also. I've been in it so many times. So I'm here to tell you that yes, you are in a time loop. You're not going crazy. And if you want to change it, do something about it. Because why are you doing the same thing if you know you're doing the same thing? Because you're going crazy. Because the thing is, I want to say most of the time, people always complain about the same things. It's either they complain about their friends, they complain about their job, or they complain about personal growth. Those are the main three things that people always complain about. And they're not willing to change it because change is tough and change requires effort. And not a lot of people want to do the effort because people want to get to the destination, but they never want to go through the journey. They always just want to skip through everything. But the thing is, you have to work on it. Or, you can just ignore this advice because why does it matter? Who listens to the side character anyways, right? In every time loop movie, no one ever really believes that the crazy person is actually correct and he's actually spitting some facts. But no, it's fine. You know what? Stay stuck in the time loop. You figure it out, because I'm not going to be stuck in a time loop. What am I doing differently? Doing this whole YouTube thing. Because I'm pretty sure there was a time where I did try, but then I kind of stopped. I almost stopped this year. But you know what? I changed it because I knew if I did, I'd be stuck in a time loop. So which means if I don't stop making YouTube videos, I will never feel like I'm stuck in a time loop. And being in a time loop is just a mentality. Of course, do not take this seriously. Of course, I do not actually think I am stuck in a time loop. It's more of a feeling, it's more of a mindset. But I'm telling you to change that mindset. I'm just trying to convince you that maybe you should do something different this year and not do the same thing that you do every single year. And that's all, instead of complaining about it. But if you listen this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Doesn't matter if it's 1 view, doesn't matter if it's 10 views. I appreciate anyone who's listening or watching, and I will still keep posting, and I will still keep trying to get better. Because I'm not going to be stuck in a time loop. Not again. Not like last year. Not the year before that. This year's going to be different. Because I'm doing YouTube now. That's all I have to say. I'll see you tomorrow with a new topic.